Hey, I want to talk about my writing process right now. This is Sophia Wren. I'm a writer, been a writer for like 20 years, publishing online many years over that. And I'm trying something new and different, or at least I'm thinking about something new and different, and I think it's new. Or maybe it's been something kind of in my space for a while, but I just never really articulated it. So I've been a writer for a long time, writing books and for my business and helping other people with their businesses and all kinds of writing, all kinds of sharing online. And there's kind of a difference between writing something for yourself and writing it for other people. And it's a really complex topic. So I kind of wanted to talk more about that today and sort of figuring that out in myself with some things that I've been writing lately. So it's July, it's summertime, and it's been a very intense year for me so far. It's been a very intense few years for me so far. And it's kind of a good time to kind of, slow down a little bit and take a little bit of vacation time maybe. And so I have been kind of taking off my expectations for myself to be writing as many articles as I was writing. I was writing several articles a month for Medium online, and I also write for a magazine, and I also write bi-weekly on LinkedIn, and I also send a weekly email, so it just becomes a lot of writing, So I've been kind of not forcing myself to do things other than what I feel like I absolutely need to do. And I've been kind of just writing more for myself, and it's something I've done all the time, but especially as I've been writing for Medium this last year, a lot of things I've been thinking about turning them into articles, okay, and articles that I would share with people on Medium or somewhere else. And that's great. It's great to be able to make something and put it out. But you start to format your thoughts. You start to be thinking about, or at least I do, I start to be thinking about, okay, I have this idea, now what am I going to turn it into? Okay, so now I have this idea, and now I am body switching to someone who's reading it, thinking about how to explain it to them in a way that makes sense to them. How is this going to be valuable for them? How is this going to hook them? How is this going to attract their attention? How is this going to give them something that they want? And now my focus is no longer on myself. And this isn't a bad thing, because if you're in business or trying to provide a service, it is good to think about sometimes, but if I do it, but right now, it feels like this comes up in a way where I abbreviate my original thought. I get away from my original thought and inspiration, and now I'm down some other rabbit hole. It almost feels like a self-abandonment, or a way to get away from something that wants to unfurl on its own, something that wants to take up more space and exist without ramifications, without caveats, without another reason to be there. And I was just watching something by Christina Ruth, who's a very unique individual that I like to listen to her ideas sometimes. And she was talking about something like this in a different way. And yeah, I had this idea to go live with this earlier today, but I was kind of thinking, is anyone going to watch this? I don't care about this. I don't know. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to say, and I was trying to plan it before I started it, and then I just didn't do it at all. And that's the thing. That's it. That's what has been going on with some of my ideas of okay, where am I going to put this? Where is this going to be shared? How is it going to be shared? Do it just need to be longer? Doesn't it need to be in the format of an article? And then it's but I don't know what it's going to be yet, is the point. And I'm actually working on a book, and have been for several years, about my time living in Japan, where I met my husband. And a lot of those articles that I've written on Medium have related to similar topics, they might overlap with that content material. And they've been really popular and successful, so it's felt like a really great place to share. But now I'm kind of feeling maybe what's coming to me is the book, and it's not an article. And maybe instead of trying to fit everything into articles and then turning those articles into a book, maybe instead I'm going to be writing for the book, and then later, at a later time, turning some of them into articles. I don't know, switching the order. I don't know. But I just, like, when I coach somebody else in writing, I always, because I'm a writing coach, with these nonfiction topics, you know, I really like to try to get people to listen to themselves. And the thing is that when I listen to myself, I say different things at different times in my life. I say different things at different times. I say different things for different projects and purposes. And it's just like a never-ending journey. Like, it's not like a formula that doesn't change. And this has been a change. Like, this feels like a change. It feels like there's something that's been changing, where I've created kind of a formula in my mind, almost, of like, okay, I've done this a lot of times. I kind of know what the format of this kind of article is. I kind of know what I do on Instagram. I'm in the habit of making certain kind of posts on Instagram, and then now there's Threads, and I'm like, I know it's gotta be like a short little thing, and then like Facebook, you know, it's just like there's so many different little forums where writing can go. It's so easy to, as soon as I get an idea, to just try to think, okay, where am I gonna put it? And then thus what format does it need to be? And now I'll change the idea to fit that. But I think I'm just a little tired of this process, and it's felt maybe a little bit confining. And sometimes having those structures can be really inspiring. Like, when you're looking at a blank page, it can be overwhelming. So having some kind of format in mind can help. But I think at this moment for me, I'm like, I want to be vines. I want to be vines that go everywhere. I don't want to be in a box right now. I don't even necessarily want to finish anything and publish anything right now. Let July be July. I just want to be. And something I love writing in notebooks. I love using little digital note-keeping things to keep notes. I love this program called Obsidian that I teach everyone how to use who is in my client base, if they want to know, to organize all my ideas in this giant web of ideas. And it's so helpful to find what I'm looking for and find things I didn't even know I wrote down that can be so inspiring to me. So that has been really fulfilling. And it's just like I told one of my clients the other day, like, sometimes when you aren't sharing your writing because you're working on it on your own, sometimes it's because you're taking on a bigger topic, you're taking on a bigger project, you're taking on something, hey Misty, taking on something that is massive, you know, versus a small project that you can wrap up really easily in an afternoon. You know, sometimes we work on bigger things that take longer, and especially when you're not like posting it immediately online, social media or something, like it can become something that you don't have as much external validation for and external momentum to do. Yeah, I am doing good. Thank you. Yeah, and I've just been embracing my own rhythm and just this desire to write things more for myself and for July at least. But just, and it's been kind of hard. It's been kind of, thanks. I'm glad you like hearing about the writing and talking about it. Yeah, it's been hard for me to switch gears because I've been so used to doing this pattern of like fitting everything into a particular format that like I haven't really known where some of my writing, some of my ideas, what they're going to turn into. And it's been kind of hard because then my mind jumps in and tries to fit it into a box and I can't get the original idea out. And so I'm kind of like relearning this way of not switching out of myself, you know, to just really try to hear myself and just really try to hear what's trying to come through and like to be okay with it not being produced into something right away. Like I used to do articles every month, like multiple articles. And this month I'm not pushing myself to do that with some of these things. And like, maybe it's because it is just bigger thing, a bigger project. It's like a book. It's like a bigger bunch of words and it's going to turn into something more meaty. But then, you know, I don't have that little high of like, I finished this. And then that's like, you know, maybe I'm kind of addicted to that. Maybe I'm used to that and kind of addicted to that. And it's, you know, it relies so much more from yourself to do that kind of thing, kind of behind the scenes. That sounds really sweet. You're doing that children's book. That's so sweet with your grandson. That's adorable. And you hear me. Thank you. Yeah. That sounds like a great project. Yes. Completion feels so good. I think, yes. And I think that, and it reminds me too of something. I've been thinking about instant gratification a lot lately, and how, we all love instant gratification. We're all human. And when you complete things, you get that gratifying feeling of like, yes, I get to check the box and like it's done, and it's like something I can take off my list now, and I'm freed up for more things, and maybe I'll get another quick win. And but yeah, some projects are just so long, and I actually was looking at I did a tarot reading of my year, and one of the things it said for like the whole year, like what's going to come out of this year, 2023, it was like 8 of Pentacles reversed. And I kind of was looking at it again. Now it's like July, it's like halfway through the year now. I was looking at that reading, and I was just like, oh, so it means like nothing's going to be done this year. And I was just like, oh, it means like this is part of a long journey that's not actually not going to be done this year maybe. And some of the things that really matter to me are they're going to maybe move forward, which is great. But that completion feeling might not arrive, with some of these things. And that was kind of a wake-up call. Doing tarot. Yeah, do some tarot for the rest of the year. I mean, it's nice. And it's nice to revisit if you have anything from the past, even if it's not from this year or recently. But sometimes we just forget. We just forget things, or we see them in a new way. And oh my gosh. But that was kind of like that wake-up call of like, oh my God, I've been hunting that completion feeling. And it is so good, and it is, it's great to have your goals and stuff and want, move forward. But sometimes, like, it is good to kind of, like, wake up and realize, like, okay, let's try to be happy with right now, because this big thing isn't going to get done yet. So, great, go for the gold, but, like, be happy in the now, and, try to find something good about right now. So that's where I'm at. I feel like I have a million unfinished things. Some things have been wrapping up lately, but they're kind of the beginnings of new projects, most things. And it's been a lot, but I know that in the end, all of this is going to be good for me to kind of stretch and hear myself a little bit better, and like think about my priorities in a different way. Because my year's priority was, I want to listen to myself more, and I want to love myself. At the end of the year, I want to love myself more than I did January 1st. Oh, it was good to have you. Awesome. Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing your live too, Misty. Very cool. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, and so that was my overall goal of the year, and I almost didn't do this live because I was like, I was just overanalyzing what it needed to be, but I felt like I should do it, and at the very least, me and Misty had a lovely conversation, and so that's where I'm at. If you have any thoughts, or you guys are doing anything in your writing, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, especially if you see this later and you couldn't drop by. I'm going to keep on doing my thing, and I'm going to keep exploring, and maybe I'll give you guys an update later. But it's just felt different in my body when I think about the writing, and I kind of try to let go of like, where is it going to end up? Do I need to put this out there in the world the short term? When I kind of let that go, and I'm trying to kind of tunnel into myself a little bit more and follow the inspiration, it's just a very different feeling than I've had so far this year. And it definitely is stretching me in a different way, because it's like out of my pattern that I've been in of posting a lot of articles. So anyway, that's what's up. Thanks for joining me, Misty, and thank you if you're watching this.